All right, I guess we'll get going. Trying to get this camera going. I'm Eric Hammond with Colorado State University, and I'm just going to do a quick little Facebook Live on spring lawn care here. There we go. The weather cooperated, and it got nice enough out to do this outside, but I wasn't able to get everything I wanted to get done beforehand. So we're just going to go through, and I'll show you a few little tips and tricks, about things you can do to get the lawn off to a good start in the spring. So I'm going to turn the camera back around. So this is the yard that I'm dealing with here. You can see it's already started to green up. It's getting a little long. It's probably just about time for the first mowing. In terms of spring lawn care tasks, one of the big ones that everyone's mind always goes to is fertilization. And spring is a good time to fertilize your lawn. Probably the second most important time to fertilize your lawn, with the fall being the most critical time. Part of the reason this lawn is greening up so well is that we had good fall fertilization done here. I did it here. So when you're fertilizing in the spring, you're probably going to put out 1 pound to 2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, depending on the quality of lawn, the age of the lawn, and a few other things. So what I have here, and I'll try to keep my shadow off it, I'm trying not to show the brand, although it really doesn't matter. Nitrogen is nitrogen as long as you're applying it correctly, is a bag of fertilizer, I applied before this last set of storms. You can see whenever you buy fertilizer, one of the critical things is these 3 numbers on the bag here. The first number is the percentage by weight of the bag that's nitrogen. The middle one is phosphorus, and this is potassium. I've had a soil test done. This is a pretty established lawn, and I know that I don't need a lot of phosphorus and potassium. I have plenty in the soil, so that's why I chose this one. It doesn't have anything to do with the brand or anything like that. So this bag is 29% by weight nitrogen. And nitrogen is the most important nutrient for your lawn. It's the most limiting one to growth. So if you can see that, it's a 42-pound bag, which is 29% by weight nitrogen, which means that there's 12 and some change pounds of nitrogen in this bag. And you know that we want to put out 1 pound to 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So that would mean it would fertilize either 600 to about 6,000 to about, the math, I'm getting it all wrong. So it would fertilize, take that back, about 12,000 square feet is what I mean. And it says, and when you do the math, actually, with the instructions that are on the bag, it puts out about 1.2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. So it's pretty much online with what CSU recommends. So, but you can do the math on that stuff just to check it yourself. So if I flip this over, you can see the instructions here for using it. And no matter which brand of fertilizer you buy, it's going to give instructions for a variety of spreaders. So you can see here it's got directions for if you're using one of Vitagro's spreaders or Scott's, rotary spreaders, or a drop spreader. A rotary spreader is one where the fertilizer gets sprayed further out from the spreader. It gets spread around, and the drop spreader just drops it right below it. So this is a rotary spreader, and it's a Scott's one. So my setting is supposed to be 4 1/4. And so if you go over on the other side, you can see on this knob, there's a train, of course. We'll let the whistle go by, but you can see we're set at 4 1/4, which is the rate that was recommended on the bag. So I put this out before the last storm. This spreader on it, if you look at it, it will tell you that it throws the fertilizer 2.5 feet to either side. So that's about how you space out your passes. It's best to do the edges first, and that way when you come back and go the other way across the yard, you stop at the edge where you already fertilized to, so you don't overlap. And they'll have the pattern oftentimes on the fertilizer bag. So you don't want to put out too little nitrogen, and you don't want to put out too much. Too little, you can get a lawn that's patchy and maybe weedy. Too much, and you can burn the lawn or even kill it. So it's an important task, but you want to make sure that you get it right. Another thing you also want to make sure is that you avoid spraying fertilizer onto sidewalks or other hard surfaces where it can run off into water or unwanted areas. So you want to be careful around the edges and sweep any fertilizer that gets on hard surfaces back onto the lawn where it can be used by the lawn. So fertilization is one of the important things that you need to be thinking about in the spring. Although again, the fall is a great time to fertilize as well. Another thing that we want to be thinking about is aeration. So this lawn is just a little too wet to run the aerator over. I would have done it for the video. But you can see here a very basic aerator. They pull these plugs. This one's still kind of plugged with dirt, but these tines go into the ground and they pull out a plug of dirt. And this improves the aeration of the soil, so it leads to increased root growth, better infiltration of water into the soil, and is one of the most important things to do if you're trying to grow a lawn on clay soil. So when you run the aerator over, or more likely you pay to have someone aerate the lawn, you want to make sure that the plugs that are being pulled out are at least 2.5 inches apart, which may mean they have to go over the lawn multiple times in different dimensions to kind of make Swiss cheese out of it. This one gets pulled behind a lawn tractor, but they have all sorts, they have hydraulic ones that pull better plugs, and that's what you'd get if you pay for it. It's totally worth slipping a few extra bucks into the operator's pocket and having them kind of do the Swiss cheese to it and really make, really fill the lawn with holes about 2 inches apart again. So that's going to be especially important if you have kids or pets or there's traffic on the lawn. So fertilization, aeration, those are two important spring tasks. Another thing that you want to be sure you're doing in the spring is checking your sprinkler system, if you have an in-ground sprinkler system, and making sure everything is still adjusted correctly. So this yard has a really strange sprinkler system, but I'll come over here to one of these and show you what you should be looking for. So the big thing with the sprinklers is most of them are designed to operate straight up and down. So you want to make sure that they are straight. Now this one is not. So what I would come and do is pull off the mulch, I guess, first, and then I'd remove the soil on this side, straighten it, pack the soil on this side, and then put the soil back. Usually you can just simply pull it and add the and then pack the soil down to get it straight unless it's really far off true. The sprinkler sits way above ground. It's a very funkily designed system, but normally the head will be at the surface. Another thing you want to check is to make sure the water is not getting caught on the grass or soil near the sprinkler, that it hasn't sunk in, or so it's not too low. That's one of the main problems that we see with sprinklers when we do lawn audits. Again, this system's a little weird, but it's kind of nice that you can see the whole sprinkler exposed there. Finally, you want to make sure the system is still operating correctly. So you fire it up and you visually watch it and make sure each head is spraying to its neighbor head down the line. The coverage should be head to head. So this head should spray down the line to the next one in the line, and it also should spray this way to the one that's in the middle of the lawn that you can't see there. And they should overlap nearly perfectly, and that's critical to the system working effectively and watering well. If you need to replace heads, they range from $8 to $15 at a store, and it's pretty easy to do. They just screw on and off the riser. They're just threaded. So I'll take this one off so you can just see. So they just threaded. So it's not rocket science. So let me pull it off. So you can see it's just a threaded attachment, and the sprinkler just screws on it. So if you need to replace one that's not working or become clogged or something, it's pretty easy to do, actually. Don't be intimidated by that. So if you check your sprinkler system, you get some fertilizer out there. Today again would be a great day to fertilize with the weather that's supposed to be coming in. You're off to a good start. Aerate in the spring, and the fall is another good time to aerate. And then the question we often get is when to start mowing, and I'll come out here in the lawn and we can take a look. So in Colorado, for a bluegrass lawn like this, you want to maintain it at a height of like 3.5 inches, and this is getting to the point where it should be mowed. So ideally, When you mow the lawn, you're going to take off about a third of its height in a mowing. Taking off more can be hard on the lawn. And you want to leave it a little longer. So again, that 3.5 inches. And again, this is about ready to be mowed for the first time this year. The weather just hasn't quite cooperated. So, that's the basics of what to do in the spring. Again, with the fertility, the fall is another great time to be thinking about that. So don't just fertilize it once and forget it. And other, tips and tricks, I would be sure to be checking your sprinkler clock to make sure it's set properly. If you had it set for long periods of time at the end of last year, it's probably time to turn it back down because the weather's cooler. So don't just turn it on at the settings it was on last year. And you can even consider, if you think you have problems with your sprinkler system, contacting your water provider. A lot of them provide free audits to check your sprinkler, or very reduced cost audits to check your sprinkler system and make sure it's working correctly and kind of inform you of any flaws. You can save a lot of water that way. So I think that's it. That's the stuff I wanted to show you guys and go over. Thanks for tuning in. We'll post this video once we get captions on it on YouTube, or it'll be on our Facebook page. There's a talk this Friday that Cassie is doing via Zoom. You can find the link to that as well in the chat or on our Facebook page. And appreciate everyone coming in. Also, once we all get out of quarantine, the Extension Office offers lawn checks where we'll come and look at the problems that your lawn has in person for a small fee and help you out if you're struggling. So you can contact us at the Adams County Extension Office if you live in Adams County, and that's 303-637-8016. Thanks. Have a good day, everybody, before the snow comes. Good day to get the fertilizer out there. Thanks.